Okay, so my presentation is on resource security in the social pillar. My name is Natalie Studley in Geography 100. So first I'd like to talk about the globalized economy we live in today and how that is affecting our resource securities. Here we can see how our economy worldwide is affecting the social pillar of geography and our environment. The United Kingdom is heavily reliant on other countries to export their natural resources. Without these countries nourishing their own land and providing food for the United Kingdom, then the UK would be going through a huge food crisis and many dying of famine. Several of these factors, such as drought, flood, or as mentioned, severe weather events, would lead the United Kingdom and the country producing this food to be impoverished. The countries exporting are making money from the UK, and the UK is benefiting by feeding a half of their population. They do not have enough fertile grounds to produce this much food for their countries. Some of these places that are helping the UK by exporting their own food are South America, the European Union, and Southeast Asia. As you can see in this quote from The Guardian, it states how, quote, since 1986, the size of this land has grown 23% to match increasing demand, with associated CO2 emissions rising by 15%, end quote. This is showing how much more CO2 emissions are being released in the environment, all to help the United Kingdom by clearing out more land in different countries and exporting food to their region. Resource security is being acted out here in this specific situation solely because of the UK securing their own resources that are being imported from other countries. Because of this security, it is diminishing the size of land that was once covered in vegetation and trees. Now land is being cleared of trees and being used specifically for the United Kingdom instead of their own country's people. This clearing of the land is forcing people out of their homes, providing more opportunities in labor and agriculture, releasing more toxins in the air by producing the food and clearing away our environment to make room, and raising the number one issue being climate change. We clear this land to grow more food for the United Kingdom, but this is also land that we are stealing from local people living in that region. These are people's homes and the fertile soil that they could be growing their own produce in. We have stolen this land to export goods to another region that does not care about the well-being of their laborers. This does not just go for the United Kingdom, but many other countries and regions of the world are participating in this era of globalization. To provide this resource security, we will need to help climate change and reverse our actions so that we can have fertile soil again in all regions of the world. For those who have lost their native land and cannot grow produce, we need to think of ways to give back to our communities and learn how to provide for ourselves again. The world is only getting hotter, so to maintain our human life as a whole, we would need to turn back the damage we have done and replenish our earth. And now we're going to talk about the reservoir systems in Mexico City that is taking away the fertile land. So the Cutzamala Reservoir System is one of the indigenous lands in Mexico City. Mexico is said to get more rainfall than that of London, England. So unfortunately, with the invasion of other countries and taking over their water system, water is becoming scarce and forced to be shared with others than the indigenous' own supply. Quote, the vast lakes that have once filled the plain were, however, steadily drained by settlers, and in the 16th century, Spanish conquistadors rapidly accelerated the process, and modern engineers have almost finished the task, replacing the lacustrine marshes with a gray sea of concrete, tarmac, and steel that in the central city alone is now home to almost 9 million residents, end quote from The Guardian, Watts. So with the help of modern science, the once flourishing rivers and streams are now being drained and ran by the government system. There are now an abundant people living in Mexico, which is great for their economy, but their natural resources are being stripped away and now made harder to gather safe drinking water. So as a result, they need to implement bringing up groundwater from underground. So this creates hardship for the people living in Mexico, especially the indigenous groups that once inhabited the area, gathering their natural resources peacefully. So the taking away of land from the native Mexicans and their natural water resources has gravely taken a toll on the people.